My 48 female sister Caroline, 45, has spent the past 20 years bragging that because she's 10 years younger than her husband Ethan, 55, by the time she hits 40 plus, Ethan's drive will have plummeted too low to pursue others, and the 20-somethings won't want to date men past 35. Ethan was 34 and my sister was a week from turning 24 when they officially got together. At the time, 34-year-old Ethan was a newly minted senior VP with a 35-year-old wife, Emma, and a preschool-aged daughter. Ethan told my sister that Emma became a sanctimonious mommy type after she gave birth, stopped waking up at 5 a.m. to exercise, withheld it and became a negative nagging shrew. Ethan physically left Emma for Caroline, but Emma was the one who filed for divorce. Caroline was angry because she claimed Emma was the one who filed for divorce, yet she's the one who became bitter and hostile after the divorce happened. For a while I sympathized with Caroline because everybody criticized her relationship. However, it felt like Caroline and Ethan made it a fact that Ethan was punching above his weight. Regarding having a younger woman, their entire personality as a couple and individuals. I think it's because Ethan was poor into his early 20s and said he thought the best he could ever do was the sort of attractive after a few beers truck stop waitress. Back then it was much easier for somebody with no connections to rise, and Ethan did. Then, after his divorce and before marrying Caroline, Ethan started his firm and began making even more money. Caroline signed a prenup but maintained that it would never be used. Caroline used to laugh when ex-wife Emma told her that there were always younger women out there. Caroline replied that she asked Ethan, and he said a 10-year age gap is gigantic to him and that Caroline was the combination of someone who he'd always see as much younger while also being able to relate to her. In a place where her stepdaughter could hear her saying it, Caroline would also say that Emma has aged so much faster than Ethan and that she's likely regularly mistakenly referred to as her daughter's grandmother. All this about "he will always see me as much younger" disappeared a few years ago. Caroline started becoming very withdrawn and miserable. She'd act out in ways, but Ethan would not even bat an eye at her antics. Then suddenly, just before the holidays, Ethan picked a fight by telling her her hand mannerisms are annoying and left the house. She found out he was living with a 24-year-old assistant he hired without experience. Now, despite texts saying their 3 kids miss him, and she doesn't deserve this when she's never denied him intimacy, he's filed for divorce. Caroline came to me crying and would go on rants about how Ethan would realize the 24-year-old sees him as grandpa. I rolled my eyes and said, "What did you expect, sis?" And that I had no sympathy when for years I've had to listen to her saying age gap detractors are bitter losers and that Ethan will always see her as a prize. I also told her that 10 years is barely the starting point when it comes to trophy wife relationships. She got angry and said she's still the youngest Ethan will ever get for a long-term relationship, and that her qualities should make him come back to her. I said, "Yeah, sure," and she screamed, "Are you calling me old when Ethan's pushing 60?" and left. Am I the idiot for asking my sister, what did you expect after her husband left her for a younger woman? Not the idiot. Every mistress is convinced she's the exception, not the rule. She's delusional. There is an endless supply of 20-year-olds who would jump at the chance of marrying someone with money and living an easier life. He has a type she has now realized a little too late, however. Exactly. She's deluding herself into thinking Ethan gives a crap about long-term relationships, especially since he has no problem trading in for a newer model every 20 years or so. He's going to ride this new one till he's around 70 or 80, and then, at that point, throw off the pretense entirely and just hire sugar babies for companionship or import a trophy wife from a developing country. It's clear he doesn't care about family after all. Yep, my late stepmother saw my father as a stable person who would take care of her. At least that's how it looked to me. She was 23, he was 44, and I was 16. She was wife number 3. He kept being a man-child, and she had to become the adult in the relationship. I'm not sure why she stayed. She must have loved him. We lost her to a tragic accident last year. Father hadn't paid a bill in years, and most accounts were in her name. Poor delusional lady, but she was an excellent stepmom to me. Oh, I'm sorry for your stepmom. Ethan told her that Emma became a sanctimonious mommy type after she gave birth and became a negative nagging shrew. And Caroline believed that? LOL. Now she knows why he left his first wife. And you are not the idiot for saying what you said. She forgot the old saying, if he's willing to cheat with you, he'll cheat on you. She should have known this day was coming. My parents recently put down the rule, no dinner until 1.5 hours of violin practice is completed. Since they realised I, a female teen, rarely ever practice violin, and if I did, it would only be for 30 minutes. I absolutely hate playing the violin. The last time I asked them if I could stop playing the violin, they said they'd ground me for a year, but they kept extending it past 3 years. People have recommended I try playing songs I like, and I tried, but then I ended up hating the songs. I'm not generally lazy, I'm quite good academically and physically. Around a week ago, I refused to practice violin and skipped dinners. My parents never thought I'd choose that option and are extremely mad. They've taken away more things recently, such as books, art supplies, one of my hobbies, soft toys, I'm still very attached to them, breakfast, not that I ever ate it, clothing besides one basic outfit, and my school uniform, etc. I'm still refusing to play the violin. I've spoken to my friends about this, and they just told me to give in to their demands. Am I the idiot for refusing to play the violin? Edit, yes, I'm Asian. Not the idiot. Taking away meals as a form of punishment for wanting to quit an extracurricular activity you're no longer interested in is dangerous parenting. OP, call CPS and tell them your parents are withholding meals. Also, talk to an adult at school and explain the situation to them. I think OP is afraid of the repercussions of telling someone. If CPS comes to investigate, parents put on their best behavior and OP is not immediately taken out of the home. There will be a wrath rained down once the CPS is gone. Coming from a similarly abusive Asian home, that's why I was afraid and clenched my teeth till I was 22 to move out, and then go no contact. Oh honey, they've totally ruined the violin for you. They drove you to hate it by forcing it on you. You cannot force an instrument or sport on your children. The role of the parent is to provide opportunities for music, sports, dance, etc., and then encourage their child if they decide to take it up. Forcing a child to participate is the quickest way to kill any interest for life. It's horrible what they're doing and punishing you like that. Music has to be a choice, a personal one, something you love and look forward to. It's not torture. I'm so sorry, they are despicable. A female 25 have an older sister 28. We're both married, my husband is 28 and hers is male 29-ish. She married her husband while I was in college, right around when I met my husband 5 years ago. We actually attended her wedding together. My sister is a stay-at-home mom and her husband works in finance. As I said, my husband, whom I met in college, is now an attorney and I'm a forensic scientist. I work on crime cases. All of that is to say that my husband and I are well off financially, while I know that my sister struggles a bit, especially these days. Well, a few days ago, my sister asked me if I could watch her children for the night while she and her husband had a date night. I said of course, my husband and I often watch our nieces. 3 girls, one a set of twins, preschoolers and a pre-tween, and we even have set up bunk beds for them in our guest room, and we look forward to watching them. My husband and I are undecided if we want kids of our own, but we just love those girls so much, and they are 90% of the reason we lean towards yes. Well, when my sister came to drop the girls off, she came inside for a few minutes. My husband took the girls to the kitchen for a snack, and my sister insisted on sitting down and talking to me. She then told me that the date that night was supposed to be a rekindling of the flame date and that her husband recently hadn't been the same. She said he's better if she could make it until next year-ish because the twins go to school next year and that I could pick them up and drop them off if necessary. My job has flexible hours. She sort of backed off then and just nodded and left. Well, today, I got a few angry texts from her calling me a witch, selfish, self-absorbed, and a spoiled brat. She says I'm a horrible sister for not offering her money or more help because I have so much of it to do. I reminded her that no, I'm not rich, but my husband and I have good jobs and no kids. I reminded her about all of the help I'd been willing to give for the girls and told her honestly my money just wasn't a free-for-all and that I'd have to talk about it with my husband anyway. She didn't want to hear any of it. According to her, I'm being a horrible sister, a spoiled brat and unreasonable. So, am I the idiot? Oh boy, wow. Is it just me or does being insulted and called names make anyone more likely to help out? Not the idiot. No one is entitled to your money, especially not when you're already giving them free childcare. I would tell your sister that you and your husband won't be able to offer assistance until she makes a sincere apology. You are a selfish, self-absorbed, horrible sister for looking after my children, which I chose to have while I went on a date night with my husband. I can't believe that you're such a spoiled brat that you offered to drop off and pick up my kids every day to and from school, even though they're not remotely your responsibility. I just want money. Wah! This woman needs a reality check and a high five in the face with a chair. Oh, it sounds like she was hoping you would pay for her to be a stay-at-home mom still. Beware of her trying to move in next. If she does, put her in the same room with the 3 girls. Make it slightly uncomfortable so she will be inspired to get it together. Also, Sis's husband is in finance. He should be able to afford alimony and child support. Your sister made her bed, and now she wants you to crawl in with her. Do not give her any money. If you do, the demands will never end. I am a 30-year-old man. My fiancée, Shelley, is a 26-year-old woman. Since I met Shelley, she's been open about one of her interests, Korean music. It's not my jam, but I'm always happy to hear her talk about it. Early in our relationship, though, I wasn't aware that by Korean music, she mainly meant one specific male pop star. His name is Kai. Since we began cohabiting last year, I've also learned that it's less of an interest and more of an obsession. She spends excessive time looking at his pictures, following his fan communities and listening to his music. If I'm perfectly honest, it's a huge turn-off for me personally, but people will like what they like. Last summer, my sister told us that she was getting married, and we were super happy for her. We immediately RSVP'd for her wedding on Friday, January the 12th. However, in December, Shelley approached me and told me she couldn't attend my sister's wedding. When I asked why, she said she would be in South Korea around that time. I figured Kai was having a performance or a fan meet and greet, but it was even worse. Shelley wanted to attend a fan-held birthday party event. Apparently his birthday is January the 14th, which is today's date in South Korea. I asked her if she was out of her mind, seeing as 1. She doesn't speak Korean, besides some of the lyrics she memorized. 2. She doesn't have much money and lives primarily off what I make. 3. She would prioritize some random pop star's birthday over her fiancé's sister's wedding. Shelley told me she was going, and that was that. Before she left for the trip a few days ago, on my birthday, she begged me to tell my sister that she couldn't go because she was sick. I really didn't want to talk about it and just told her, okay. Well, yesterday was my sister's wedding. It was a lovely ceremony. My sister and her husband were confused about why Shelley wasn't there, and I immediately fessed up that she was in South Korea for an event. My sister was a little upset, but I told her not to let it ruin the day for her. After the wedding, my sister apparently emailed Shelley, telling her that she wished she would have been up front because she could have saved some money on her food for the event. Then Shelley emailed me, furious about my telling the truth. Was I wrong to tell her the truth, or were my actions justified here? Not the idiot. To answer the question you asked, she skipped out on your sister's wedding. She can deal with the fallout. She knows that she's doing a crappy thing because she asked you to lie about her reasons for doing it. I've heard people asking the wrong question before, but this takes the cake. Why are you marrying this woman if her obsession is, as you put it, a huge turn-off? Not only this, but she takes your money to fund an expensive trip to South Korea to attend a birthday party for her celebrity obsession, who probably doesn't even know she exists. The real problem here is not that you told the truth about her reasons for skipping your sister's wedding. The real issue here is your fiancé. Break off this engagement and run. Run like the wind. Flying to South Korea to participate in a celeb's birthday party when they're not even there and maybe don't even know it's happening? Yikes on several bikes. That is an unhealthy obsession right there. On top of this, your sister has a point. It was really bad of your fiancé not to be upfront about missing the wedding and making your sister waste an invite and money on catering. This Kai obsession is a make or break for the relationship. OP, you know exactly what you're getting in for, and if you aren't 100% on board with it, you're committing to it nonetheless. She's funding this obsession with money you earn, and money I'm guessing you'd rather go to the wedding. Something else for the relationship, your own interests, or something more practical like living costs. You're the third person in the relationship of yourself, your fiancé, and her idealized image of Kai. Look man, you're dealing with a partner who is not mature enough to be in a relationship. It will only get worse. I, male 35 and my wife 34, have been married for 10 years and have 2 children. a pre-tween male and a female kindergartner. My wife is a homemaker and has always cared for the family meals. I work in a technology company and have a very tight schedule. About a month ago, my wife decided to become vegan for ethical reasons. I respected her choice, but we agreed that I and our kids wouldn't change our diet. She agreed to continue cooking meat for us, as our kids enjoy it and are not fans of vegetables or such dishes. However, 2 days ago she told me that she would no longer cook meat for us. She said she felt terrible about choosing corpses at the butcher and preparing them at home. It was a matter of principle for her and a contradiction to abstain from eating meat but still buy and prepare it. She stated she would only make vegan meals for the entire family, and if we wanted meat, I would have to cook. I got very upset about this as I don't have time to cook, especially with an ambitious project coming up at my company. We argued a lot about it and she called me insensitive and ignorant. Our kids will be back from my parents' house at the end of the month and I don't want them to go through this change with her. You are the idiot. Oh lordy, your kids aren't fans of vegetables. What, do you blanch them and serve them unseasoned? Cook a damn chicken breast when you get home. It's not a big deal. You can do crock-pot meals or takeout. You don't have to spend much time on this. Let the kids choose what they want to eat instead of making them collateral damage in the family food war. Also, can you trade a chore with her? She does what you usually do and you start meal prepping for you and the kids. You could even just cook the meat portion of the meal. The wife is allegedly a homemaker but does not make meals that satisfy her family. The kids are old enough to attend school, so the wife is home all day. Dude, tell your wife she can return to work and you'll stay home and cook. And that after she's done working, she can come home and cook for herself since you'll be cooking non-vegan meals. You're not the idiot. Going vegan is a significant change of lifestyle after 10 years. You supported her with the understanding that she would still cook meat for the rest of the family. Then she breaks that agreement without even a discussion. I think she's the idiot in this situation. Unfortunately, you'll have to figure something out because I don't think she'll budge.